CAPEU Executive Talk focusing on music education for sustainable development, inspiring social responsibility through sound. I'm Dr. Christine Augustine from the Faculty of Music and Performing Arts, UPSI, and I'll be moderating this exciting session. Okay, let me just explain a bit. The synopsis of this talk on music and sustainable development examines how music education can contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly in promoting quality education, cultural preservation, and social inclusion. I'm honored to introduce our panels for today's session. We have Associate Professor Dr. Claire Chan Swet Ching from University Putra Malaysia, UPM Malaysia. Dr. Claire, can you just wave? All right, and also Professor Dr. Matilda Maria Olarte Martinez from Salamanca University, Spain. So I think she's not here yet. She'll be joining us soon. Okay, a short introduction about our panels. Claire Chan Swet Ching is an Associate Professor of Ethnomusicology at the Music Department of the Faculty of Human Ecology at University Putra Malaysia. Prior to this, she taught at the Music Department of University Pendidikan Sultan Idris from 2002 to 2022 and held appointments as the Deputy Dean, Research and Graduate Studies from 2011 to 2017 and Chief Editor of the Malaysian Journal of Music from 2015 to 2021. Claire graduated with a PhD in Music, Ethnomusicology from the University of Hawaii at Manoa in 2010. She is a recipient of the Fulbright 2005 to 2007, Asia Pacific Graduate Fellowship in Ethnomusicology 2005 to 2007, and East-West Center Graduate Degree Fellowship 2008 to 2010. So I would also, I think I'll introduce Professor Matilda later when she's in. Okay, so for this session, the panels will discuss their contribution in the music field background, current issues and challenges in terms of sustainability through sound. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Associate Professor Dr. Claire Chan Swet Ching from University Putra Malaysia to begin her sharing. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Christine, for the introduction, and good afternoon here. And I'm not sure whether it's night or morning for Dr. Matilda. Firstly, foremost, thank you very much to CAPEU, UPSI for inviting me for this talk. The title is actually very attractive and relevant, and it made me think a lot about how music could contribute to alleviate some of the global issues. Before I begin, I just might like to offer a slight apology if the flow of my talk is not very fluent, because these are really new ideas, so I just thought about it and I'm just sharing what I'm thinking about currently, and there's a lot of room for improvement, and I would appreciate some comments or some questions or suggestions from anyone from the floor. Thank you. Okay, let me share my slides first. Okay. Okay, so everybody can see my slide. Okay, right.
Yes, can see.
Okay. Right, let me start. While the world addresses many administrative challenges through technologically driven AI tools, these innovations inevitably generate new psychological and environmental concerns. In this lecture, I will explore how we can foster global citizenship, individuals who embrace their social responsibility through education and musical activities. It is well established that music has the power to unite communities around pressing global issues such as environmental degradation and mental health crisis. However, I argue that this unifying power is significantly enhanced when musical activities are rooted in oral tradition. Let me show you an example of some collaborations that have been done in Malaysia, where different countries come together and create alliances to create new performances. Alright, so here we have a collaboration between the Balinese gamelan, Yuganada, and Hands Percussion, based on a theme called Taksu, a very powerful theme that talks about the spirit of an artist that follows your heart forever. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about the oral tradition. Music transmitted through oral tradition involves human creation, ownership, and internalization via the five senses, making it a deeply embodied and communal experience. I argue that learning and performing music through oral traditions, where music is transmitted, practiced, performed, and created by the community using culturally relevant materials, promotes community building and solidarity. This, in turn, contributes to the sustainability and resilience of communities. Due to time constraint, I will focus this discussion on one pressing global issue that significantly affects human well-being, particularly the development of children. This issue is the worldwide consumption of and obsession with internet-based apps and platforms, which is increasingly causing pervasive harm to children's mental health. While ubiquitous access to information has enabled children to acquire knowledge at a younger age, it can be argued that this doesn't necessarily make them wiser or more mature. Wisdom and maturity require processes that involve pain, perseverance, resilience, and the passage of time, elements that cannot be replaced by instant access to information. The attention economy. Have you ever wondered why apps like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are free? How do these platforms survive without charging users? The answer lies in a business model that exploits human attention, particularly that of children, for capitalist gain. In today's digital economy, your attention is the product. Your engagement and data are being sold to advertisers. Social media platforms are not merely offering a service. They are strategically engineered to capture and monetize your time and behavior. Apps such as Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are designed to be addictive. The longer you stay engaged, the more advertisements can be shown to you, and the more data can be collected from your behavior. Their use of this platform is not simply a case of addiction, but a response to technologies deliberately crafted to be captivating. So how do apps capture the young generation and even the older generation? Let's talk about instant gratification and dopamine hits. Apps like TikTok, IG, and YouTube are designed to deliver instant gratification. Each like, comment, or video delivers a small dopamine hit. What is a dopamine hit? It's a sudden surge or rush of neurotransmitters, dopamine in the brains, that's often triggered by pleasant experiences or activities. So this dopamine hit reinforces a loop of continued use. This conditions children to seek quick rewards, and those who do not get these quick rewards will struggle with patience and delayed gratification. So many Gen Z users and even Gen A today display signs of impatience over delayed gratification. They get frustrated when they are with tasks that require sustained effort, and they are disillusioned when immediate impact is not visible to them, such as in jobs or long-term projects. The capitalist strategy. Although often overlooked by the general public, many smartphone apps and platforms are deliberately designed to capture users' attention and foster addictive behaviors. These designs are driven by capitalist motivations, aiming to maximize revenue by increasing user engagement. The longer a user remains on the platform, the greater the advertising and data-driven profits. So why are these apps so attractive to the younger generation? Well, the identity and expression. So today, social media has become a space where children and teens shape and perform their identities. They express themselves through photos, videos, and created profiles, often emulating the lifestyle and aesthetics of influencers. So it's this age of individualism where everyone can do anything. Everyone can fly, everyone can drive, everyone can whatever, and everyone can be express yourself. So while this can be a source of empowerment, it can also promote individualism and insecurity, especially when self-worth becomes tied to likes and follower counts. So this could be detrimental when children think that if they're not getting likes for their postings, means that they're not appreciated or they're not beautiful enough, and they kind of get obsessed with this idea to get more likes. So now many children spend hours crafting content to gain validation, reinforcing capitalist ideologies of the individual with rights. So it's reinforcing this idea of the individual with rights, with capacity, and with self-individualism. Right. So what are the mental challenges that this young generation, when I talk about young generation, I'm talking about 0 to 25 years old, which ranges from children to teens to young adults. So many mental and social ills have erupted with the obsession of the young children into smartphones. Many of the younger generation are using the phone for one, entertainment, social networking, education, expression of identity, instant gratification, dopamine hits, and also escapism and coping. Immersion into the internet through the smartphone is not harmful if it is used for educational purposes and entertainment. However, spending large amounts of time engaged in entertainment has detrimental effects on children, such as 1. Escapism. To escape stress in school, to escape bullying, or to escape low esteem, some young teens or children might immerse themselves into video games and get high over video games or over winning certain video games that might help them to feel good about themselves. However, this kind of escapism really does not solve their problems, because most of their issues are rooted in community social issues. So eventually, if it continues in this way where they sort of throw their emotion out through video games, it will actually culminate to more danger if they are actually not solving the root of their problem. Yeah, my slides are a little bit kelam kabut. Okay, that should be come first. Okay, right. So second, reduce real-world social skills. So children may struggle with face-to-face communication, emotional reading, empathy, or resolving conflicts in person. So I think we all know that too much time on the internet will create social recluse, where children don't know how to solve issues among themselves because they do not contact and interact with each other that much. Second, it could also lead to neglect of responsibilities, where too much immersion in video games will make them their academic performance level drop, and then there are routines which their parents maybe have engaged them in, like wash clothes, make your bed, tidy your room. Stuff might experience breakdown. And then children also might begin to become disengaged from family and community, where they're so immersed in their video games with their friends. Next, one also very detrimental effect is that young generation become irritable and anxious and impulsive when they are not allowed to use their phone, or when they cannot get connected to their phone. This is called impaired emotional regulation. Next, it's the loss of interest in what's happening to the real world. They're not interested in people communication because it's hard, it's difficult. To establish friendships, to solve problems with human beings. It becomes a problem for them that they don't want to engage in. So they lose interest in the real world and they get immersed into the virtual world. So they have less curiosity about real world experiences. They're not concerned about heritage sites, and they are less concerned about things that are affecting the human climate, the global climate. Next, definitely, it's may not seem clear now, but definitely weaken physical health. Most children who spend a lot of time immersed in their smartphones will uh, in, will be affected by increased risk of obesity. They'll be tired. They'll have poor posture, sleep disorders, and especially eye strain. As you can see, many children are already now wearing glasses from a very, very young age. Okay, so this is kind of like, random. I'm just trying to introduce you slowly to how music can solve these issues. So it's kind of like random, okay? All right, so as you can see, the global alliances working together with other cultures and even local cultures is not something new. It's already been happening, especially among NGO, non-government groups. However, it's lacking in in music education in schools. But these things are already going on in the community for some time. This is quite a recent performance by Orang Orang Drum Theatre. As you can see, they are already infusing like a kompang drumming, interlocking kompang drumming. There's also the lion dance drumming. There are original songs that are created in Mandarin. They also infuse movements from the Sama dance from Aceh. And there's also elements of Randai. If you can see the last part where they're slapping down the the baju, is a Randai movement. So that comes from Minangkabau and is a performance in New Negeri Sembilan. And as you can see, you also may hear some kind of Carnatic vocalization of drumming patterns. So yeah, this is already happening, and these are local expressions of stories that are told through music. Okay. Right. I think I have a few more slides to go. So let's talk about profit over well-being. So do you think tech companies are concerned about your well-being? Well, tech companies are largely indifferent. Yeah, no, they aren't, okay, concerned about your well-being to mental, social, and physical harms associated with their platforms, because their aim is to gain profit from you. So they are not concerned with your issues. So issues such as cyberbullying, scams, misinformation, cultural appropriation, erosion of genuine human connection are often dismissed in pursuit of profit. The issues discussed above, from addictive design to identity fragmentation, are serious and urgent. They hinder the holistic growth of children and highlight ethical failures of the capitalist system that prioritizes revenue over health. The challenge before us is to balance technological use with meaningful real-life experiences, emotional well-being, and healthy social development. So how can we alleviate these social ills and challenge the capitalistic demons? All right, I think I can talk to you in the next session, where I will explore how music can promote global citizenship and serve as therapeutic tools to combat mental health issues faced by children in the digital age. Thank you very much, Christine.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Claire, for your sharing. So first of all, Dr. Claire has mentioned about the use of social media, where it has many negative implications on children, where it is an advantage of another. Okay, when we see all this negative impact on children, okay, less communication, less of patience, neglect of responsibilities. But on one side, as we see, Dr. Claire, okay, these oral traditions are well transmitted through this media. Okay, so when these traditions, they come from different parts of Malaysia. All right, so but not everyone has the opportunity to see it face to face or physically. So what is your perception of this? So they study about these oral traditions from media. So is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
It's not a very good thing, because I have seen I have seen a lot of cultural appropriations on the internet representing a certain cultural tradition, which is totally not the cultural tradition, and children in school are actually copying that tradition to represent that tradition, which is not that tradition. So how do we get connected with culture bearers, people who are actually the performers of the tradition itself? I think this is a very important discussion that we need to have with music education, because we need to, music education probably needs to support culture bearers, and culture bearers can also provide their input to the music education realm. It's probably a matter of time where we need to have discussions on how to bring oral traditions, that to embrace that oral tradition is an epistemology of knowledge. It is a way of learning. It's not just music literacy or reading music notation as a mode of learning in school. It's very important that we actually learn using our senses, how we listen, how we observe, and how we create from what is there, and create new things from there, rather than be confined to a certain tradition that is a printed tradition, a tradition that requires only literacy. So I think that Malaysians are doing it, it's just that it's not really happening in schools.
So as we are still talking about challenges, okay, now you see there's a lifestyle changes, environment, AI, like what you have mentioned, AI is taking over. So what is the biggest threat you see as a researcher? Because I believe you are a researcher as well. You are doing research in indigenous tradition culture. So what do you see the biggest threat?
What I see, let's say from my fieldwork observations, is that let me just talk about my field experience, because I do work with the Mahmeri children, and one of the biggest issues is the culture barriers are finding it hard to transmit their music heritage to the indigenous kids, because the indigenous kids are really immersed in video games. Uh, the moment we start doing all these traditional songs, and in between all these the intervals, they're back to the video games. There's really a lack of interest in their own traditional heritage, and we are trying to make it interesting by making it relevant to what's happening today, but it's still a challenge to get children to connect with their heritage and to kind of make it relevant to what's happening in their contemporary life. I think this is one of the challenges, and also maybe to let them know that there are more things that are more important than just spending idle time immersed in video games. This is one of the challenges that I face in fieldwork.
Okay, in terms of ethical responsibility, okay, there's a diversity, equity, and social inclusion. So, are any of these issues being faced by this society?
Sorry, can you repeat which issue
Because
is
you
it?
see, as most of the people, that there are some society, they are being marginalized, you see. So there's no social inclusion. So is there any issues faced by this society?
Yeah, actually there are many issues, because firstly is they are marginalized in terms of even their local heritages, their local knowledge is not included in schools. Although there are some movement, for example, there's a semi-dictionary that's being created, but there's lack of inclusion of our local actually there's also a lack of inclusion in our local heritage. Is not just the Orang Asli, is even the Malay, Chinese, Indian culture. There's a lack of inclusion in the music education. And why is that so when we are such a country that is so rich in our own cultural heritage? We do not know where the issue lies, but I think that we need to come together, maybe culture bearers together with ethnomusicologists and music educators, to come down and sit down and figure out how we can be more inclusive of our own local music into the education realm.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Claire. So we'll move on to our second panel. Okay, Dr. Claire, I'll come back to you for the other section. Okay, so we have Professor Dr. Matilda Maria Olarte Martinez. Professor, are you?
Yes.
Can I hear from you? Yes, okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I haven't read your biography yet. Let me just introduce you to the participants. Okay, Professor Dr. Matilda is a Vice Principal for Culture, Heritage, Sustainability and Development at the University of Salamanca, Spain. She is also a Professor of Musicology at the Faculty of Arts. She holds degrees in piano, musicology and music, including a PhD from the University of Valladolid. Her research focuses on Spanish popular music, oral traditions, music in film and advertising, and gender studies. She founded the International Congress on Music Creation in Soundtracks and has supervised over 30 PhD theses and 50 master's dissertations. Many of her students have received top academic awards. She leads the Imagine, if I spell it correctly, research group, and also the Patricius Transfer Group. Okay, so she's an evaluator for national and international research agencies and serves on the editorial boards of several academic journals. She also directs 2 academic book collections. In recognition of her work, she receives the Gloria Vege Award for Teaching Excellence and the Maria Di Mazzu Award for Research Excellence. Okay, without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to Professor Dr. Maria. Please welcome.
Thank you
The
very
floor is
much.
yours.
Thank you for the presentation, and also thank you for the opportunity of talking in this nice meeting. And I would like to share my presentation I sent yesterday. I have some problems with computer, and the program, I hope, will be okay. Compartiendo su pantalla. No, I only want to share the presentation, no the screen. Yesterday I sent the presentation. Well, never mind. I mean, I don't need just to share my presentation. I would like to put here. I sent already yesterday to the meeting, and I would like to talk about my presentation. The title is Innovation Projects for Music Students in the University, Promoting Quality Education, Cultural Preservation, and Social Inclusion in Salamanca University here in Spain. I appreciate the opportunity of talking to you about these innovation projects. We have been starting with them for almost 16 years. These innovation projects means that the students for the third year and the final year, we have 4-year university students, they can join to some lectures to prepare innovation project with the ODS program. This means that we are giving to them the opportunity, I think is quite interesting, examine, just the social and environment challenges from climate change, awareness, campaigns, imagine with music, we have a lot of opportunities for social challenges in music. In Spain, we have editorialship for almost 40 years, and during that 40 years, this finished in 1975, the music was used as propaganda, as a way of transmitting logical ideas. So all these teachers who has been teaching during the 40s, 15s, 16s, and 70 decades for young students. Now our students, after 40 years, they saw them, as just practiced music teachers. So the one important idea is that our students will see them as, as students, as lecturers who had the opportunity of teaching. They suffer not for a very hard social context, and our idea for joining them was not through field work. It means some inquiries, we call oral sources, asking about the typical things about age, why you study music education, and which villages where you working, etc., in order to get closer to these ladies. Most of them were ladies now in the 80s and the 40 years. 80 and 80 years, and after several interviews and several field work, the students realize that this music teacher needs another opportunity for our young students. The way that they look at them was completely different. Another innovation project we have been working for several times was to do a musical theater with young students from school who have a kind of disability, mental, have not a proper mental way of develop, and this has been also quite hard for our students, because this means that they have been working after the university classes almost every 4 times in a week, helping these kids to sing the music, also the choreography, the dancing, and also helping mothers, usually more mothers than parents, just to do this, to solve the costume, to help them with the play words. And for our students, I think there has been a very nice opportunity for realizing how the ODS can be a practical thing in our studies. In Spain, we study in the university only musicology. We don't teach any kind of music. So it means that you have to study at the same time in the conservatoire, where you study your abilities for instruments, harmony, and all these music lessons. And in the university, we only study history of music, analyzing context of history, arts, and so on, and sociology and anthropology. So it means that our students have to combine at the same time the two kinds of studies. So sometimes they always say that they have no free time, but we have realized that the students who are, just really, they have the best marks, the students who are studying very hard and they combine the two kinds of studies at the same time, they are the one who wants to join our innovation projects. So this means that for a class of 50 students, we have no more than 50 students every single year. Only the participation is 10 students, so it's just only 20%. But every single year we try, to work hard with them, and we think that the innovation of them is quite interesting. So I think that the students, after this innovation project, they have reflected on how, if we deal with these sometimes stereotypes. Stereotypes can be, as I told you, about these all music lecturers ladies for kids. And also this year we have joined a different project, which is very interesting. We call Femme Fatale, Opera Music and Preservation of Gender Violence. With this project, this course 24-25, we started the 1st of October 24 and we will finish next week. With this project, we have tried to address how women has been and are sometimes victims of the gender stereotypes imposed and legitimized in society through the history of music. Had been coordinating for our department, and in this time we also have been get the possibility of postgraduate students to join the project, and this combination has been really interesting. Why we choose this topic for this year of preservation of gender violence? Because sometimes we have realized that, for example, in opera, we have sometimes this role of these ladies, who are manipulating men, and for example, these ideas that we want to gain to our students. This kind of music sometimes, reggaeton is a music from the Caribbean islands, and in Spain is very popular, but sometimes the texts are terrible because they are, in a way, really hard. They are trying to force you to be violent if you are a young man with your girlfriends and with your young girlfriends. So I think we have organized kind of a contest, and the students have been looked for the starting point of these stereotypes and have been seeing how this was already present in so-called high culture music since the 18th century. This is the scenario of the opera. This is the case of many of the canonical and socially legitimate operas in which women are treated as perceived, evil, sometimes even hysterical, following the cliché the femme fatale that is so prevalent in this discourse. And through the 20th century music, really, no, this kind of expressionist music and has not only been a mirror of society, but also a stage on which the figure of the female fatale has been constructed and deconstructed. A woman who provokes, seduces, manipulates, and sometimes destroys herself in the process. This is sometimes the idea that they can find in some of the periodicals, in some of the books, an ambiguous figure who dances between myth and reality, between fascination and fear. Of course, not all the books are explaining that, but some of the analysis, yes. So, how has been this new project? Activities and actions to prevent gender violence through music promoted by our students. Has been, we were working with them in some small groups, and they have sought through songs, images, and stories that mark an era, a space for reflection on the roles assigned to women in the music of the last century and how this have been influenced and continue to influence our collective imagination. In my presentation, I just put two small videos of we have organized groups of 4 students, just girls and boys, no? And the same part. And they have been taped, with the mobiles, short videos of 2-3 minutes, and they have distributed through Instagram, through the mobiles, no? And we create, of course, a group of Instagram. Has been a really surprising how many people has been watching these videos, and they were, really motivated to see that all the effort, they have put in this project of this year has been really, really positive. And also, always we like to join university and young students. I mean, not primary, but secondary and high school teachers. So another initiative was to hold talks in secondary schools to raise awareness and reflect on the violence against women in musical works, included in the canon, this typical songs that you always are singing, and to extrapolate this to current music. Here I have to thank to the secondary schools and high schools that they were helping us, and they say yes, they give time from the classes to hear our students. And here is the main role of the postgraduate students. They were in charge, every single one, of a group of 4 students. So we have 3 groups. And they have been also in my presentation, I put the reels of 4 of these talks. And we were quite surprised that the young students were asking. I don't know in your countries, but in Spain, when you are giving a talk, nobody asks anything at all. When you finish your talk, it's okay, but I mean, outside the corridor, but never during the talk. When you say any question, never. And in this time, yes, our students also decide to put an accent in this kind of music of reggaeton.
Professor Matilda, your audio is off. We cannot hear you.
Fine.
Yes, okay.
Okay. And have you heard to me or nothing?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Great. But from the last from my presentation, have you been able to hear me?
Yes, until you said no one
Sorry.
answers you, yeah.
Yeah,
No one
sorry.
answers your question, yes.
I don't know what happened with this computer, and I have been there are problems. So I was talking to you about our participation with high school. Could you hear that?
Yes,
Great.
we heard you, yes.
Great, thank you. And just the last thing I wanted to share with you about this innovation project of this year was a conference that we hold the 8th of April this year. Was quite nice because we invite our students to join and to prepare the conference in our historic building of our university. This building, our university was found in 1218, and the building, of course, is not from the 13th century, was renewed in the 16th century, and it's a very nice building. Of course, I would like to invite you to visit us with exchange, and you will know us. So for the students, just to hold a conference we call about music and gender, no, and how to prevent avoiding violence. And there were talks, roundtables, concerts where the subject of gender violence in music was approached from different points of view. In the morning, we have the first panel was social action and musical practicing, and for the afternoon we have just conference about four of them inviting some postgraduate students, and they were just talking about this issue that for us was so important. And this is the thing that I just wanted to join with you, and I just open to any question and anything. I'm sorry I was not able to share my presentation, but I sent yesterday the two of them. So you have now the presentation of now and also the one of later.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Matilda. All right, thank you for your sharing, and I'm really amazed what is your university doing to the community. Okay, it's about gender studies, and you also do a lot of community work on violence of ladies, and also you have programs for them, and also you have programs for children, and also
Yes.
you spread a lot of videos. Okay, I just want to know one thing. So what is the perception of the younger generations about the Spanish traditional music? How do they perceive it?
Yes. Well, I mean, I can talk about our students. I mean, I can't talk about all Spain because it's a
Yes.
different. But just yesterday, I came back from a big conference in Madrid about popular traditions and the perception of the lecturers and the perception also of museum people, staff working there, is that we need to work very hard for the young generations in order to preserve these traditions. Here in this university, we are very lucky because this is a small town of only 1,700 inhabitants. So in a small town with a lot of, it's the same than Cambridge and Oxford. It's a very small town, and we are integrated, the university in the town. So here we have almost every week or 2 weeks exhibitions of dancing in the streets for organization. I mean popular dancing, not just another kind of dancing. For example, tomorrow we have special concerts with popular instruments. So here the students are very concerned the tradition. Also, my university has another positive thing. We have students from several regions. Spain has different regions, means autonomy towns, states, small states, no? And we are very different from the north to the south, from the east to the west. So in our university, we have students from different communities, different regions. So for example, we have for the south from Andalusia, also for the Basque Country in the north, not from Catalonia because they speak in different language and we only speak in Spanish. No, we don't speak Catalan or Gallego language. So in the classes, we try to give them the opportunity of also express themselves the traditions. I mean, not all of them have interest of this popular music, but perhaps 70% they have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. And may I know how your organization they integrate sustainability in terms of financial assistance from the government or from the educational organization itself?
Well, this is a big issue. It's a big issue. We have only money from the local government. Our government, Spanish government, it doesn't give us any money. We have the money only from the local government, and our local government have a lot of universities, 5 universities, public, 5 public. So at the end, we have to look for the money, every single of us, lecturers. Just last week, I was just applying for a big grant for our students in order to do this field work about the tradition of the Spanish music just before the end of the dictatorship, at the beginning, to see how the popular music was used as propaganda. And I was asking money, and they will tell me about having success in, I suppose, in 2 months. So in case that we have no money, I invite the students just to join our project without having any money. We just give pocket money for the basic things for our research group. But I mean, here in Spain, we are used to work without special funds. This is sad, but this is just the reality of us.
Reality. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Professor Matilda. So thank you so much. So we'll go to the second session, which is the best practices and way forward. Oh, sorry. So I'll go back to Dr. Claire. Can you share yours? What is the best practices and way forward?
All right. Let me just share my PowerPoint slides. So I will continue from here. Let me just do this. I'm not sure. Okay. Right. All right, let me continue on best practices. So while I'm talking about the best practices, I will also show you videos from past 10 to 20 years until today over some of the things that have been happening in Malaysia. So it could be random and not really fit into these categories I'm talking about, but just to let you know that these things are happening. Okay, let's talk about what is global citizenship through music. Basically, by UNESCO, global citizenship refers to individuals who are aware of their social responsibilities in an increasingly interconnected world. This is the definition by UNESCO. A global citizen is mindful of the shared challenges that impact communities worldwide and seeks to engage with them constructively. Music as a universal language offers a compelling avenue to develop global citizenship in the young generation by fostering cultural awareness, empathy, and social responsibility. So in terms of music, when we want to talk about global issues, it can be something that is discussed and talked, but it would be more interesting that we could use music to actually illustrate some of the issues that are affecting and get the children to be involved in it, and not just to talk about it, but to get to actually be embodied and experience discussing the issues through music. Citizenship through music. So by engaging with diverse music traditions, this is when the global music tradition comes in. Young people can gain insights into the cultural expressions of various communities and how global issues influence these expressions. So from learning other cultural traditions, we are actually learning the values of that tradition. Which is very important to be kept, because these are the traditions that have been kept the community alive for many years, okay, before modernization incorporated new values into the communities. So while the digital world has enabled online and global access to music, I will not delve into this area as it is full of potential but remains currently an idea. So I cannot talk too much about how we can engage in with global music because it has not happened yet, but it could be a future potential that we actually engage with other universities or other schools through online learning about other musical traditions and incorporate some of those musical elements in the musical creations that we create in Malaysia. Okay, but that has not happened yet, so I will not go into that, but I will talk about what has been happening in the local tradition. So I will highlight initiatives by academicians and culture bearers who aim to connect the young generation as one Malaysian community. I will showcase performances by NGOs that use music to voice concerns about capitalism and social inequality. Okay. So, why is it so important for the children, young generation to experience real world musical experiences? Okay. It is important to emphasize how meaningful real world musical experiences can enhance by relevant technological tools. Means that we know that kids are interested in all these digital elements. How can they be interested in real life happenings and at the same time utilize tools that they have, which the probably the previous generation do not have, and integrate them into these real life experiences to create new musical works and creations that are related to their generation. Okay, so these can contribute to the holistic development of a healthy, engaged individual. Music and movements are particularly powerful in nurturing these four dimensions, which is the cognitive, emotional, social, and physical dimensions of development in children and adolescents. And also, music supports the 21st century's competencies known as the 6 Cs. This is being emphasized. Previously, there were 4 Cs, but now there are 2 Cs that have been added. Okay, the previous 4 Cs were creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. But now the other two, character and citizenship, has been now been emphasized as two important skills that is needed in this globalized world. Right? I think this is very general. We know that traditional music, popular music, and even creative contemporary theatre practices in Malaysia today can inherently support holistic development of these four dimensions. Right, let me talk about cognitive development. I will give an example. Let me talk about my research subject, which is the indigenous Mahmeri of Malaysia. Traditionally, the Jo'o lyrics, Jo'o is their music and dance performance, were fluid and improvised. Everybody thinks that traditional lyrics are stagnant, but they are not. They are actually fluid. Okay, singers would engage in witty lyrical exchanges, often addressing social issues with humor. So here are the melody that they remember, and the lyrics are always changing because they are in debating over issues, and eventually it will end up in humor. So these kind of witty debates where you need to create new lyrics to respond to the other person's witty challenges actually encourage quick thinking, creativity, and verbal dexterity. So which means on the spot, you are creating new lyrics to respond, to challenge the other person's respond to you. So this is where cognitive development lies in oral tradition, as compared to today where we continue to sing songs that are composed by other people and just memorize songs that are composed by popular musicians rather than incorporating our own experiences, our own identity into maybe a melody that is already there. Okay, so here is where cognitive development lies in many traditional cultures. However, today, the tradition has largely been replaced by fixed rehearsed lyrics designed for tourist performances. Unfortunately, the people themselves, the Mamar people, they also have not been creating lyrics. They have been using the same lyrics for 10 years because the next generation are not interested in creating new lyrics based on their experiences. So this is unfortunate among the indigenous people, and it's also very unfortunate among us because most of us don't really create lyrics anymore. We just like memorize lyrics from popular music. All right, so this is the cognitive development side. Another thing about oral tradition is the learning through listening and observing. So among the Mahmeri, music is not taught through formal instruction, but learned through immersion and internalization. So a musician may take over and improvise based on their own habitus and interpretation. So again, there's this misinterpretation that traditional music is static. It's actually not, because there's no written tradition. There's no music notation. So musicians are listening from one another, and when there's a need for another musician to take over, that musician will play what he has internalized, but he will not totally mimic the previous musician. Some part of him, his identity, will emerge in the way he plays the music. So there is this creative component in him. Okay, so acceptance of these improvisations is determined by the community. So whether whatever he is performing sounds good or not, it's determined by the community. It's not determined by assessment, a standard assessment with rubrics. It's the community who says, "Oh yeah, he's doing a better version of it than the other previous musician." Okay. So in contrast, in school-based music education often focuses on a canonized pieces. So you have all these songs in your standard 1 book, standard 2, and standard 3 book that you are supposed to learn based on certain sequences. And the lyrics almost never change. I mean, like, I think Ewa Ewa, Wa Bulan song is all the same lyrics all the time, okay? But it requires music literacy and leaving little room for creative input. Means kind of, if you want to learn it, you should be able to read the notation at the same time, right? So in order to nurture citizenship skills, young people should first experience traditional music through direct interaction with culture bearers. Although I know this is really challenging and very idealistic, it's good to experience the music from culture bearers because they play with a different nuance than the ones who have learned it. For example, me learning the Mahmeri music from the musician, I play it differently from him, which is why the oral tradition is, is flexible, because I have my Western music education on the violin ingrained in me. So no matter how I try to play like him, I can't sound like him. I want to sound like him because it's so soft and so fluid and so, it has this kind of melancholy in it, but somehow maybe if I stay there longer, then I could actually play like them. Okay, so learning from the culture barriers transfers this kind of flexible nuances in their musical performance. Okay, so after embodying and internalization the music, they can be encouraged to create their contribute their own creative interpretations. So I'm not saying that traditional, I'm saying that it's good to learn traditional music from its quote unquote authentic style, okay, and then after that do what you can with it. Just respect the tradition, but do not culturally misappropriate the tradition and do something else with it, okay, and say that is indigenous music, right? Learn it, respect it, know it, and recreate from it. Okay, here I'm going to intersperse with some sharings of things that have been done. This is in Penang by Arts Ed. This was like maybe about 20 years ago. It has already begun, where children are taken to the heritage sites, living heritage sites, to understand their cultural heritage and create performances out of their cultural heritage.
This is a Chinese story, so if those people familiar with the stories, they will understand the picture.
All right. Okay, so I'll move to the next dimension, which is the psychomotor development. So traditional music is inherently participatory, often involving dance and communal movement. There is no separation between the performer and the audience. Everyone can play music and dance without fear of judgment. While basic movements are culturally embodied, individuals are free to innovate. Likewise, in schools, traditional music transmission should allow for creative movement, especially when students invent new lyrics or variations. When children participate in movement-based activities in a safe, inclusive environment, they develop motor skills, body awareness, coordination, and this will contribute to physical health. As you can see from that video, it just goes too far to say how important those projects were. You can see that the kids are interacting with each other. Malay, Chinese, Indian are working together, and they are using their gross motor skills, their small motor skills, gross motor skill, and the small one, minor one, to create new things. And based on real living heritages, they are going to the shop houses to interview the aunties and uncles about their heritage. And from there, they are creating stories to tell stories of the living heritage of Penang. Yeah, so these are things that can help contribute to development of psychomotor. I have more videos for you to see. So let me just watch. This is orang drum theater. So this is a piece that is called Ada Orang Sangat Sibuk Sangat. Someone is very busy to earn an income, turns right, turns left, turns until he's hungry. So let's just watch a little bit. So maybe for some of you to think about what are the musical elements utilized in this performance.
Ado sorang sibuk sangat jale cari Ado sorang sibuk sangat jale cari makan belok kanan belok kiri pusing sampai lapar. Ado sorang sibuk sangat jale cari makan belok kanan belok kiri pusing sampai lapar pusing sampai lapar. Kau tengok anak tupai ini tak kekesian bersendirian, tak cukup makan tiap-tiap hari dia kesini kesana, makin lama dia cari, makin liar tak bermaya, baca pokok pagar, tiang lampu wayar, perut dah berbunyi, tandanya dah lapar, takkan berhenti, takkan mengalah, takkan berhenti sampai cuba buah. Ado sorang sibuk sangat jale cari makan belok kanan belok kiri pusing sampai lapar pusing sampai lapar.
Tak payah susah-susah berpusing sampai lapar. Tak
if someone is out there who is a musician, who is a local musician or a student, can someone tell me what kind of musical elements are incorporated into these performances in terms of language, in terms of music, in terms of movement? Yeah, I'm sure there's some musician out there. There's some music student out there. I'm sure you can tell certain musical elements. If you can, please open your mic and just tell me. If not, I will ask Dr. Christine.
I think there are a few comments here.
Okay.
No,
Sounds
there's only
like
one
Wow
person.
Bulan.
Sounds like
Yes. Wow Bulan.
pantun culture, berbalas, Kelantanese language.
Exactly.
It's a rap.
Rap. Yes, good, very good. Yes, you can see. So these are musicians. These are orang drum theater. They are basically Chinese musicians. That they're very Malaysian. So they have incorporated even Kelantanese language into telling a story about a poor. I think this is a poor man who's very hungry, and he's talking about social issues here. So it's African drum. Okay, African drum. I'm not very sure, but could we could analyze. We need to do some musical analysis for that. Yes, but basically what I found is there are the siku drumming, of course, the Chinese line dance. There are also many contemporary drumming patterns. There's of course the interlocking kompang rhythm, the meningkah, okay, and there's someone says it sounds like Wao Bulan. Maybe it's a kind of a version of it, a reinvented version. The melody and the lyrics are new, okay, and they're non-biased, and it's not based on a strophic form where you have the verse, chorus. In fact, the form depends on the people, and there's an incorporation of rap into it. So this is kind of very relevant to the community today. All these elements are relevant because we are exposed to it and we know it. So there's no harm in putting it into our creations, and unless we misappropriate the traditions. Okay, so let me talk about when children are empowered to express themselves creatively through music and movement, they are more likely to think critically and independently. Creating their own versions of traditional music and dance gives them a sense of ownership and relevance, especially in the digital world where they are constantly consuming. So children are constantly just consuming. They are listening, they are playing. All these capitalists are throwing all these things at them, and they're just continuously consuming. There's no creation. Okay, there's no ownership of their own content. So when children are asked to think critically about an issue, give them a theme, ask them to go and investigate the theme, and teach them some musical traditions and whatever they're exposed to, and create something to express a certain theme. It kind of belongs to them. Eventually, the creation belongs to them, and it makes them more excited because they have to investigate and they have to perform and they have to research. It makes them more less recluse. So the sense of creative control can be invigorating and boost their overall motivation and engagement with life. Okay, so I'm going to show a project we did. So this is one project, Tanjung Malim, because you're in UPSI. I'm going to talk about a project we did in Tanjung Malim. So it's called Performing and Digitalizing the Living Multicultural Heritage of Tanjung Malim through Youth Engagement, Hoitology Approach. So Dr. Long Pogi will take it off.
Rushing hours of making men clothes before the Raya celebration in Apollo Tailors. The students need to learn to play kompang as a festive symbol of Raya celebration. One of the challenges of this work is to convince the student to be comfortable to perform functional movements on stage, such as measuring and sewing.
Okay, so I'm not sure whether Apollo Tailors is still running. Is it still making baju raya in Tanjung Malim? But these were the kids' creation of the Apollo Theatre through music and movements. And these kids, they used to be so shy, okay, but they were able to finally perform in this project. Okay, next. All right, let's go to emotional development. If I have just a few more slides. So emotional development is the emotional well-being of today's generation is deeply affected by social media. Many struggle with social skills, empathy, and resilience. Some express themselves through online posts, becoming vulnerable to cyberbullying, peer comparison, and validation-seeking behaviors, such as likes and views. These contribute to anxiety and low self-esteem, and sometimes social withdrawal. By contrast, creative group activities offers a safe space for emotional expression without judgment. In such spaces, children process their feelings of loneliness, frustration, and inadequacy. When the focus is on collaborative idea development rather than replication or perfection, children are more willing to explore, take risks, and express themselves honestly. So what has happened now in music education is there's this tendency toward perfection of a musical piece, and this kind of creates a lot of stress for students who cannot perform to a certain level. So when we make performing arts something that is more flexible and free, and it's not biased, and as a safe space for kids to explore their emotions, this will help the kids release their anxieties and emotions without being judged. So I'm just gonna show a funny video because I thought this video was really, really cute. This is Namwi in Serdang, UPM, okay? UPM community.
一加一有两个好朋友，两步三步四步向前走。有梦想就继续睡，睡饱了就睡马桶，失败了就一起找理由。一加一有两个好朋友，两步三步继续向前走。虽然经常闯祸，虽然经常忙过头，最爱看到有人急到发抖。
跌倒了别害怕，总会有人伸出手，然后再用力把你推下楼。有人说退一步就会海阔天空，他才有得寸进尺的理由。好朋友，手牵着手，一定要一起加油。好朋友，两个不会寂寞，我中有你，你中有我。
一加一有。
All right. Yeah, this is this is so touching. I don't know why. When I watch it, I feel so touched. So this is Namwi. Of course, everybody knows Namwi's history, but he's actually done quite a lot of good work. And one of these is with the Serdang community. Yeah. So it's correct. Oh, what a lovely song. So what do you think are the emotional value asserted in this video? Yep. I didn't I couldn't copy the other part of the lyrics, so the translation. So probably the Chinese people will probably understand the other half of the a dream, okay? It's a dream. Oh, it can be a dream come true. Your good friend holding you hand in hand, going through conflicts together. Anyone else? Yeah, so this kind of projects, which is actually new, I think this is probably a new song creation and involving the kids in singing something that is very connected to their life and very relevant to them, and especially in their community. Work alone is better than work together, and about friendships. Yeah, so these are some of the things that how actually music can create global citizenship, and also if we can connect with children from another country, and it's through other countries, through online, maybe schools can actually connect with other countries online. They can share their own emotions, and children probably have similar anxieties, similar problems. This could be actually a good project for, music education. Thank you for the comments. Okay. You can watch this online. You can watch the whole thing. It's very touching. Okay, let's go. Okay, so emotional value, friendship, bonding, face challenges together, work hand in hand, solve issues step by step. Okay. Okay, the last one I'm going to talk about is social development. So one of the most important aspects of music education is ability to promote social development, which is really, really important today, which is like teamwork and leadership skills. To be able to be a leader, at the same time, to be able to be a player. Okay? Empathy and understanding across cultures. So when we are in Malaysia, sometimes we know, we understand different cultures. So we have empathy over, and we can adapt ourselves to different cultures that are around us. Okay, and this is important. By engaging with other cultures is only when we get to understand the other cultures. Okay, so here, a sense of belonging and community identity. And I put this picture here because I said, don't forget the person who helps load the musical instruments. They are the ones who are part of your team. They are the team player, although maybe they may not be the best drummer, but they are part of the one who help you bring your drum to to your place of performance. And also don't forget the person who helps you make up. Maybe you're not the best makeup person, but some person helps you to touch up. Someone is also reminding the van to pick up on time. Someone goes through the schedule with you so that you don't forget. So don't forget the other people involved in it as a team player. So exposure to diverse musical traditions help young people appreciate cultural differences and build meaningful relationships. Group activities also help reduce social isolation and improve peer interactions. Do I have any more? Okay, can I move? Okay. I'm in the conclusion. All right. Okay. So in conclusion, music transmitted through oral traditions is a profoundly embodied and communal experience. It involves human creation, ownership, and sensory engagement. I argue that learning music in this way, through immersion, participation, and cultural relevance, strengthens community ties and supports the development of resilient, empathetic, and socially responsible individuals. Reviving and adapting traditional music practices in modern educational contexts can play a vital role in promoting holistic development, global citizenship, and a healthier relationship with technology and self-expression among the young generation. Oh, I'm at the end. Thank you to the CAPEU for inviting me for this talk.
Okay, Dr. Claire, thank you
Yes.
very much.
Mm.
Okay, I think you have said it all. Just a small curiosity. Okay, as you mentioned, the real world music experience. Okay, I like that. All right, but with the evolution of life experience, environment, and technology, you see there are many changes in instrumentation and genre in music. And of course, we talk about creativity and innovation. Okay, that is the latest thing. But how are the changes being recognized and accepted by the cultural bearers? What about the authenticity of it?
Okay. Good question. Cultural barriers, I think they would like to maintain some of the I don't say traditional, some of their musical practices, but they actually embrace the use of technology, because again, cultural barriers, their music has been changing all the time. So it's not like their tradition is stagnant. Let's just talk about the Mahmeri, right? You see the violin in the Mahmeri tradition. The violin is a Western music instrument. What is the violin doing there? So the people were taking the violin and indigenizing the violin. They were playing their traditional songs using the violin. So they were also very, I say they were futuristic people. So I don't think they have so much problem with it, okay? But because they're already singing dangdut and joget songs on the karaoke, okay? But I think they do have a fear that their cultural tradition is not being passed on.
Okay, right. I'm sure the audience has other questions as well. Okay, my last question. So what is your foremost expectation in efforts to preserve and sustain this music?
Mm, you mean the Mahmeri music or in general?
Yeah, in general, any traditional music.
Actually, I would like to see more discussion and collaboration between music educators, culture bearers, researchers into bringing in traditional music and even popular music into the school. Because popular music has been part of us for so long, but it's kind of not really accepted in music education yet. And also because it is not that something that's difficult to learn because it's learned by the oral tradition. So encouraging oral tradition is also another venue to explore, because most of us actually do not know how popular musicians create and compose. And it's something that we kind of lack in our generation because we were educated in the Western music tradition. So we lost that part of how traditional music, like popular music, is created among popular musicians. People create interacting with other people. So it's also good to bring popular musicians into the schools to to teach the students how to create from whatever they have. Yeah, I think we need some kind of this interaction.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Claire. So hold on, okay, don't go out first. Okay. We have the second part of Professor Matilda's presentation. Professor, are you still
Yes,
there? Yes, okay.
yes, I am here.
All
I'm
right.
here.
So back to you about the best practices and way forward. So can you share about it?
Yes, of course. Sorry again because I am not able to share my screen, but I will try to talk slow, and any question you just tell me. I also wanted to thank the other speaker, Claire, for your presentation. Has been really interesting. It's okay? Can you hear me? Great, great. Great. And so for us, it's very important this practicing part of music education in our university. The most of our students, they are going to become teachers, music teachers in primary and secondary school. So I am very lucky because I can teach for undergraduate one topic called Spanish ethnomusicology. This means all the traditional music from different regions. As I told you, in Spain we have regions, local governments, and we have very different music from one part to the other. Music, dancing, and also the way of instruments can accompany them. So in our classes, I focus my classes in order to prepare them as future lecturers and future, teachers of primary and secondary students. So for us, it's important for the instruments. Then in Spain, the popular music has been using a table, normal things for normal life, spoons, in order to accompany popular music. So for our students to think in spoons, for accompanying music is quite strange because they only see videos, as Claire told, video games, but they don't have the idea of spoons and a table for making percussion. So, little by little, we see different videos or different singers. And in Spain, we are very lucky because always the ladies has been the person who has been transmitted popular music. Men always sing, of course, but they are shy of singing how was the music some years ago. I don't know if your countries happen the same, but it's very funny when we are going on field work and we're trying to tape another, no, in different villages that they don't know us, of course. Imagine the students are really shy of asking these people from the villages, where we have a big group of ladies singing, perhaps a couple of men, old men. When we finish just taping, they always invite us to have a coffee in the kitchen, and the lady says to men, "Stop. This is our territory. Don't come with us." This is our the students are astonished. So it's for us, it's very easy just to gender things, no? Then the students realize that even, all ladies has been the one who was promoting, the quality of popular music. And our students now, they are realizing that they have to have an equal way of transmitting this music. So we prepared, in our classes, just the way, of accompanying music, but the students has been asking for at least the last 3 years of doing, not only popular music, but also doing a kind of jazz popular music. It's mixing up with another thing that I think are more close to the urban popular music. And so we have been, at the end of our course, we have a concert. We have been taping these concerts, every single piece. The concerts are usually about 30, 40 minutes. A group of 7, 8 students, they perform one song, and the group decides, every group, which kind of mixed popular music they want to do. Just imitating old people, I've been taping in the villages, just kind of very jazz music. So, and the last 2 years, they also wanted to join and to share this music through Instagram. So this is incredible, but this year has been the first that students for first year, they have said to us that they wanted to study in Salamanca for the Instagram pieces of popular music they have been watching, and the students have been sharing. So for us, this is really interesting, that we are not putting any effort, just to have students, but our own students, they want, just to share with this. And now, I have been here teaching for 35 years, quite a lot of time. And in the conference I told you before, I have been these couple of days, I have been very happy because I have found it about 10, 12 old students who are working as secondary school teachers and also in museums, and they are very involved with traditions, with traditional music. So I think, although we are in the top of the university just classes, our students are enjoying the things that we are trying to share with them, and they are adapting, of course, adapting the things that we are teaching them to different levels when they are just lecturers, and also for researching. So I think this is a chain that is also closing with researching. Some of them even being secondary school teachers, they're doing the PhD, and sometimes they are using young students, in order to have the research of how the popular music is just has been accepted by communities and so on. So thank you again. I don't know if my awful English has been okay for you for understand, and you have any question, I will be very pleased of answering.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Matilda. I think actually you have said it all, okay? All the community work that your university is doing and also school are supporting music and so much. And you have mentioned just now that traditional music is becoming boring, right? So how do you change or educate their mindset? So how are you going to preserve this traditional music? As of course, the music is always evolving. So what do you do?
Yes.
What action do you take?
Yes, I think that, for us it's important that they can know, they can, just face how the song was singing 1 century ago. No, we have photos and we are working with all tapes of music from the beginning of the 20th century. And so first to know how is really the old traditional music. And also I like to compare with that time of the dictatorial ship when they changed the songs, the text, some of important parts. So they see that you can manipulate the traditional music, which I think this is important. And now for me, the hardest part is how they wanted to accept this music, because the really old music sometimes they don't say anything to them. It has been nice, clear tapes, when they see the little kids, and so emotional, they were. Our students, sometimes they are not emotional with the old music. Perhaps, if they have parents or grandparents who are in the business of performing traditional music, they wanted to perform the same. So our challenge is just and they have to think how they want to get approach to this music and to mix with another kind of urban popular music in order to join. Also in that aspect, now in Spain we have some singers who they structural the popular music and they try to give another aspect, another view, even how they are dressing of all popular music. I mean, I don't say if I like, if I don't like. I don't want to make any establishment about that. But sometimes this new way of doing jazz, reggaeton with the popular music, our students think is a way of preserving. I mean, I accept them and I say, okay.
Okay, again, the last question, what I asked Dr. Claire, what is your foremost expectation in efforts to preserve? So are you expecting their community engagement or any grants from also an industrial engagement? So what is your expectation?
For me, I think.
Yes, your
Yes,
expectation.
Yes, my expectation. Yes. I have a higher expectations. Actually, next month, July, the 30th of July, we're going to have every Thursday of July a special festival with music, dancing, theater. For me, it's funny because we're going to have classic theater, but we're going to have, popular music, because they say no, that popular music is not a way of giving of earning money with tickets. I don't know why Hamlet is going to be, we're going to have a Hamlet, but we're going to have popular music. So I think that, in a way that we are getting closer through the different things to popular music, perhaps the performers can have ideas. I think sometimes it's not in my hand. It's just in the hands of the industry.
Yes.
So in the industry, performers, local governments, in a way, of just getting there, they will go. For example, if you ask, if I should ask you, I don't know what to do. What do you think is popular music? You will tell me Spanish. You will tell me flamenco. and so on, no? And flamenco is only a small part of our popular music. I mean, I am able to dance flamenco because I have been studying abroad in Scotland, and I have to learn how to dance flamenco in order to go there, you know. But our students, they are not interested at all in flamenco. So imagine, no, we have a, you know, a long way just to, no, and I have good expectations that in your countries I will be able, no, to teach you and to show you how is this our popular music.
I believe you need to have more collaboration and also inclusive curriculum being implemented in the education system. I think this is how you promote the music from
Yes.
from the young, right? Yeah. So I think we'll stop here, and I have to open this question and answer session to the floor. So you can address your question to Dr. Claire or Professor Matilda. So is there any questions from the floor? You can give your suggestions and sharing as well. Any participants who wants to ask anything? You can type your questions at the chat box. Okay, this is from Jackie. Hi, Prof. I'm Jackie. I find that every time heritagization is mentioned, globalization and authenticity are brought up. Could you explain the relationship among these three in traditional music? So this is addressed to Professor Matilda or Associate Professor Dr. Claire. Jackie, or any of you want to answer? The question is in the chat box. Could you explain the relationship among these three in traditional music?
I can say something. What do you think, Jackie? I can say something. I think the thing of heritage, globalization, and the problem of what is authenticity. What is authenticity? For example, in Spain, we should think authenticity is what my grandparents and great-grandparents did, but this is not true because we have 40 years of a dictatorship. So authenticity is not what I could learn my grandparents. What is that my great-grandparents learned from their parents. So sometimes authenticity is a way of researching and just to try to put the effort. Heritage, I think, heritage means that we have also to know what are your interests. If I wanted to play in a way, you know, as the old people indeed, you know, young people, they are not this at all in that. I think it's good, you know, to try to find a point of joint heritage, you know, and no globalization, not just the way that you can hear through Instagram, the tapes, no, of TikTok that the people just wanted to join, and that's it. So Claire, you wanted to also to answer to Jackie?
All right, yes. So yeah, go back to authenticity. I think authenticity the idea only recently emerged, and it emerged with the play of powers over the claim. I think authenticity is only the concern of the people who want to use traditional music as a representative of their identity or their country. Because if you go back to the culture barriers, right, no one really talks about authenticity that much. But I think it got this idea, the national idea, influenced them. But culture barriers are not talking about authenticity. They just play along with whatever comes. They are flexible and spontaneous. How can I say that? And even heritage, let me just give you an example. There were no recordings of the indigenous music since the 1900s. There were only descriptions of how it looked like, okay? So from the descriptions, we know that there are only bamboo stamping tubes and only bamboo stamping tubes among the Mahmeri. But today, 100 years, you have the gong, you have the violin included into this same musical tradition. So where is the authenticity? So 100 years ago, just bamboo stemming tubes. Today, what is considered authentic is that whole ensemble, which includes the drum, the gong, the violin, and the bamboo stemming tubes. And this is considered authentic today. But 100 years ago, that was not authentic. Yeah. So I think again is the government who wants to use this idea of authenticity to portray a certain kind of image about the country and about traditional music. Yeah. And if you want to talk about heritization, it's a social construct. So heritization, it depends on who creates it, who benefits from it, and who are the people in power creating that heritage to represent the country. So yeah, heritization is a lot of power play. Oh, Dr. Christine, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Okay. So, sorry, I think just now Professor Matilda, she was like, okay, I agree to what Dr. Claire says.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Jackie, for your question. Is there any other questions from the floor? Okay, this is by Sao Yue. Hi, Dr. Claire. Okay, there's a question for you. Maybe you mentioned that pain, persistence, and passage of time are the inevitable processes for attaining maturity and wisdom. But could there be other paths, such as through gamified music learning or positive psychological intervention to achieve growth?
Okay, I'm not a child psychologist, so I also don't have children because I don't grow up with children, so I don't really understand the psychological development of children. But what I would say that maturity and wisdom does come with time. I don't think we can escape that. And in order to mature, definitely we need to go through the struggle, through the pain. I don't think there's any escape for anyone. I don't think there's something like you can jump over and this pain experience, and suddenly you are matured. Yeah, I don't think so. But I still think
Everything is a
yes,
process, right?
yes,
Everything takes time. Yeah, it's a
yes,
learning experience. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So to the Gen Zs and Gen A who want to make an impact the moment they enter the job market and they think that they want to make an impact, I want to tell them, yeah, maybe in 20 years, if you persist and you persevere.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Claire, for the answer. And there's another question. Okay, Cillian. Hi, Dr. Claire and Dr. Matilda. I am Cillian. I want to ask, do you think the dominant ideology has the greatest influence on music education? This may affect the diverse of music education or individuals' music interests.
I think so. Cillian. I can't talk for my country. Of course, I cannot talk for another countries, But for example, in Spain, where we say we always only see white or black. We never see something in between. We don't see the grays. Always we are, very polarized people, very intense, no? And sometimes, no, it's true that the dominant ideology, is influenced. For example, after our dictatorship, where we are using music, propaganda, popular music. For example, I was in the school from the 80s. I never learned popular music because they were so well, it was so much popular that we only were studying rock and swing, at all. But later on now, yes, in the, when we started realizing of our autonomies and our aspect, of heritage, heritage. Okay, no, we are trying, just to get closer. So depends. And of course, I am very concerned, and suppose Claire thinks the same, that education is different from power. We can't mix up education and politics because this is terrible because sometimes they interrupt things because it's not right political things, So I true. I think you are right, Celia, and let's do our best. Try to explain the social context and adjust at least to be able to be understood by our students.
Okay, Dr. Claire, you want to say anything?
Yeah, of course, dominant ideology persists in music education. If we talk about music education in Malaysia, I don't blame the fact that we have a colonial Western music legacy. And that's the way it was because we were colonized by the British, and the British brought in music education syllabus into the country. And that is a very positive thing for all of us. But then now, as we move on 50, 60 years, 70 years after the independence, there is also the need to look into the country itself and how we can actually embrace the diverse music heritage of the people and sort of embrace it into the music education and keeping it the way it's being taught, not putting it into the Western mold where you sequence it according to a Western sequence, like, the Kodai sequence, or, where you start with ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta as your first rhythmic experience. Whereas, like, the Malays are doing ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, interlocking already when they're very young as a child. They already interlocking rhythms, which is so far much more difficult than ta ti ti ta ti ta. So I think it's about time we embrace diversity in music education and include this into enriching the students' music education, including popular music.
All right, thank you. Is there any final question? I open before we end the session. Anyone else? Oh, okay. Okay, this is the final question, yeah, to all participants. Okay, hello, Professor Claire. I'm Chi Wen. You said that when children participate through music, they develop psychologically and emotionally. With the continuous changes in music activities, has the development of this well-being been constantly being constructed?
The changes music activities has the development of this well-being being constantly constructed. Dr. Christine, did you understand?
Okay, when children participate through music, they develop psychologically and emotionally. Okay, with the continuous changes in music activities, has the development of this well-being being constantly being constructed psychologically and emotionally? I'm not sure about this being
Yeah.
constantly constructed. I'm not sure about this question being constructed. Or is there anything you want to say about the participation, which develops psychologically and emotionally?
I don't know about how well-being of the children is being taken into consideration in schools today. Maybe some teacher here can explain, because we know that children today lose attention very easily. How are their well-being actually being taken care of in school? Actually, maybe some school teacher here can answer that.
Maybe this is talking about socially, how are they being engaged socially? Maybe I think so. So is it the well-being for them, for the communication wise, emotionally, sharing, maybe is it about that?
Yeah, maybe Chiwen, you can clarify your question. You can open the mic and clarify your question.
I'm not sure whether they can voice out or are they being
okay.
muted?
See.
Song Chiwen, can you ask the question?
Mm.
Can you on your audio?
If she can't, maybe
I'm not sure about that.
uh, from what I know, that there's a lot of intense schooling, whereas children are engaged in so many subjects and they have so many activities that are maybe more less artistic, less in the value of the arts. I'm not sure whether parents are giving them enough of the arts exposure for them to, to balance the science. That could be something that the parents could tell us. Maybe the Dr. Matilda, do you have any input there? No.
No, my goodness, it's very complicated. I'm sorry, but I think I can't help you more than your answer, Claire. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
But what I can also, I think I observe is too much consumption. And I don't really see children actually playing music these days. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe someone can correct me. I don't see children jamming that much and creating and playing music. I see most children consuming music more than creating music or performing.
And also for now, we have this university program they call service learning. We call it Sulam. So where students, they go to schools or any, they go to any agencies or what, they share their music. Then also only yesterday we had this one program. They went to the school and they teach them how to play kompang, all the traditional instruments and all that. I think this is one way to, to make them understand, to make them know about these instruments being played, the techniques, to enjoy themselves. And this is not during the class time, this is after school hours. So I think this is one way you can introduce, you can. So this is one of the university program where all the universities have to inculcate this with the the community engagement. So I think with that also, where they can, share and also they enjoy and also they develop, because they mix around. They mix around. So this is one thing, psychologically, emotionally, they can share out of school hours. All right. So anything else? Okay, there's another question actually. From Tan Shi Min. So I use music to help students to explore their feelings and imaginations in creative writing. Maybe that is one way to develop students' well-being through music. Okay, this is just a statement. So, so Tan Shi Min, I think you are a teacher, music teacher, right? So you help students to explore their feelings and imagination. So that is a way of creativity in your music teaching. All right. So, yeah. So if there's no more, I think I'll just conclude. What I think, this is my concluding remarks. Okay, I would like to conclude that quality education is one of the main initiatives by the government or any organizations to improve the quality of life. Music plays a crucial role in achieving it by integrating music into educational framework and community initiative. We can promote quality education, preserve cultural heritage, and foster social inclusion, thereby contributing impactful outcomes and a more sustainable future for all, with a robust principle, leave no one behind. This is one of the SDG, okay, sustainability development goals, which this is a principle they believe like no one should be left behind. So I would like to thank both panels for providing their valuable insights, their contribution, as well as inspiring social responsibility through sound. Thank you all for participating. Thank you for your time and engagement throughout this session. And also there's a small announcement. So the attendance link will be shared in the chat box. So kindly click it to show your attendance, and also you will get an e-certificate. Okay, so can I pass back to the MC, and thank you very much and have a good day. So we have a photography session. So if all of you can. Yes, I pass
So
back
thank
to
you,
you,
Dr.
Mr. Sasi. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Christine. So thank you to Dr. Claire, Prof. Matilda, for the engaging session. So on music and so on. So please kindly on your cameras. So the staff will take the photo. So smile. 1, 2, and 3. So we have shared the link for e-certificate and attendance for CPD for UPSI staffs and so on. So thank you again for joining. And then so in July, we'll be having another session on another topic. So please feel free to join. So thank you everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone. Dr. Claire, Prof. Matilda. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day. Thank you. Thank you,
You
Mrs.
too.
Sasi and
Thank you.
everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.